down my hair. Hurry now and don't be late, 'cause we ain't got time to chat. You and me, we're going out to catch the latest sounds. Guaranteed to blow your mind so high you won't come down. Hey, y'all, prepare yourself for the rubber band. Man, you've never heard a sound like a rubber band. Man, you're bound to lose control when the rubber band starts to jam. Oh, this dude is out of sight.
He can also throw in laser sounds.
Fuck yeah, well, not yet. Listen, guys. This Shin Godzilla figure was $23 well spent. I just want everyone to know that. It's got this sweet, like, check that out. Check him out. He's got fire breath now. Ba-bow. Yeah.
That's a pipe cleaner.
No way, dude. It's fucking atomic breath, bro. It's not quite as nice as those Todd McFarlane figures, but it's pretty close.
Oh, they're all weird now.
Are they not? Are they not have the good ones anymore?
Well, it's just like they will release like a single like weird group for some really offbeat comic, and then they'll spend 3 years doing baseball players. I get it.
Dumb.
I get it.
Yeah.
Like baseball fans probably dig the shit out of that, but I don't care about a King Griffey Jr. Figure that has anatomically correct junk.
Yeah, fuck that. One of the other things I like about this is that we can all see the same chat while the video's up too. It's not in a separate window, so if we want to throw links back and forth, that's better too.
Okay. Well, now that we know how to do that.
Beep beep boop.
So weird.
What is user settings? What's that do?
Nothing.
That's stupid. I don't need that. There's a button here. I can turn off the camera, turn on screen share. Oh, make this full screen. That's weird. I don't like that. Yeah. This is fun. I'm into it.
All right. Oh shit. You guys ready?
Yeah, sure. I got
better time than
shit.
better time in the future. We gotta get Gatlin to sleep so he's not late for work again.
Did the last one make you late for work again, or were you just late for unrelated reasons?
No, I was on time.
Oh, good for you.
Just didn't feel like being there.
Oh, I know. We're gonna wrap this up in about an hour and 15 minutes, no matter what, because I want to watch the last episode of Chernobyl before I go to sleep, and I'm not staying up late tonight.
Makes sense.
All right, everybody. I am Justin Woods, and this is the Woods Cast. It's just a podcast with two dudes that happen to be related, and we record it. With me, as always, when he can work out time zones, is my younger, dumber brother, Shay.
I know exactly what the time zone was. I was just fucking late.
Okay.
I was not here when I was supposed to be. It has nothing to do with not understanding time zones. I was just fucking late.
But in my defense, have you not more than once been like,
oh, yeah, before.
Yeah.
You try drinking all day for 6 hours, and then you forget stuff.
Yeah.
No, I just didn't get here on time. Fuck you. I don't work for you.
All right, yeah.
I don't work for you. That is shit for free.
Yeah,
Please sign up for our Patreon.
Yeah. Please send us many of dollars.
Or Patreon or Patreon. Or whatever.
Oh, god damn it. Was it?
That fucking wanker, yeah.
Wanker. Patreon. It's Patreon. Douchebag. All right, and with us, you can probably hear him giggling in the background, is somebody who we're hoping having him on the podcast will shut him up for a while. Our buddy Gatlin from the Bluegrass. What's going on, Gatlin?
I just live in the dream.
Living the dream. He's got himself.
Not sure whose dream it is.
Oh, well, how do you know that you're not in somebody else's dream, or the dreamer, or some other?
I very well could be, yeah.
Metaphysical bullshit somebody's gonna throw up on Facebook.
I mean, dude, I spent 4 days, or not 4 days, 2 days, slamming psychedelics at a bluegrass concert. So you might just be in my dream. None of you are real, for all I know.
Well,
there's a very good chance in that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see who's in whose dream.
That's sweet.
Right, as we are now, let's go ahead and run down the dreamy numbers as I edit my fucking outline, so I'm not ignorant here. So it is Monday. What is it? The 3rd, June 3rd.
Yes.
We are. I mean, we don't really prep for this. I just write down a bunch of shit I think we should squawk about. But I'm literally on my first beer, so we should be extra frosty today, or at least until I finish off this picture. We are the 864 days in the Trump administration. That is directly related to how many pitchers of beer I drink. Shay, you'll be happy to know we're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of Donald Trump taking away all of North Korea's nukes.
That's true.
And you and I getting those sweet fucking coins.
What are they up to now?
What do you mean?
Value.
Oh, last I checked, it was like 120, which is
Jesus.
which is over 110% value of what we paid for 'em.
Fantastic. Yeah, because you paid, what, 25, 50?
I paid $19.99 for them because
Bam!
yeah, because they were originally like, oh god, I think they were 40 or something. Man, I'd have to look. Maybe they were 50.
They went down, then they went back up, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's what I
then when the North Korea situation went tits up on him, those those damn coins plummeted. And I was at work and I was trying my damnedest to get them. And the White House's gift shop website is garbage.
No, of
And
course.
that motherfucker was locked up tight. And when it finally did refresh, I had something like 120 of them in my inbox. And so,
Nice.
because I kept hitting like buy four, But that's cool. As we are sitting here right now, there have been 349 Q drops. The latest one basically just saying that we're not crazy. The mainstream media wouldn't go after us if we were crazy. You attack those who threaten you the most. Logical.
Oh, I
thinking,
did see
Q.
that, yeah.
Yeah. What a fucking wanker. All right. Little side note. Alex Jones talked about QAnon for like 40 minutes today on his show. He had you guys seen that book, QAnon: The Great Awakening, that kind of rocketed up Amazon's poll race there for a couple 3 days or something like that. He had on one of the dickholes that was that wrote that, and basically.
Oh.
And basically, it was kind of fun because QAnon has been taking big wet dumps on Alex Jones for about a year now, saying that he's fake and everything. And so he had on one of the authors of this book, and he's apparently a guy he's kind of buddies with. So it wasn't too much of a stretch, but he just kept talking about how QAnon, Alex Jones is out there. I'm out there fighting the globalists in the third dimension, and you little pussies are out there on the internet. And he just had a meltdown, and the guy was like, "Hey man, nobody's saying that you're a pussy." Alex Jones, of course, is not the most reasonable man.
That was a very good impression of him too.
You just gotta talk like you're eating somebody's testicles. It's pretty easy. Or that you've had a gravel milkshake twice a day for your entire life.
Yep.
All right, so the polling hasn't fucking moved anywhere. I'm not even gonna really read it out. It's like 42, 41.5, 43%, and all the ones that take it over and over again. There were some like news reports this week that Donald Trump had hit his highest mark in 2 years in one poll from Harvard, but I wasn't too impressed.
It's what's the aggregate right now? I don't fucking check.
Oh, okay. So Gallup checks this like every 3 weeks now, every 2 weeks now. It's 42%, 52% at Gallup. 538 has them 41.5 to 53.5. Real Clear Politics, which tends to be, it's still just a poll aggregate, but all of their editorial shit is way right wing. So that's 43.2 to 53.1. So like it's what, -10, -12, -9.9. Like he's underwater 10 and fucking everything that pays attention to it. But like any politician who needs a win, like when Rasmussen throws out something that says he's at 55%, they latch onto that and dry hump it for a week.
Oh yeah, no, then they're not known for being an unbiased source. But it's like there's a couple of polls on the left that are the same way, that if I see them say something, I'm like, well, okay, but that's you.
Oh yeah. Well, and also I don't know. I have some questions to ask Gatlin, or I have a question to ask Gatlin about the bluegrass politics because Mitch McConnell's a twat. But like we're already starting to see those the stories that like. A, Democrats are in disarray and going to pick the wrong candidate. B, the reason Trump's attacking Biden's because he wants him to run because he'll know he'll beat him. C, what's the one I saw just before we sat down? Like, hard data shows that a centrist Democratic candidate can't win against Trump. Like, all of these think pieces that are just horseshit this far out. Like, I don't give a shit what some dipshit at the Hill has, wants to write an open letter to, everybody about. Like, I want to know, like, after we pick a nominee, whoever the fuck it is, I don't care. I want to know how they poll against Trump in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Florida, Ohio, and Iowa. That's it.
Yeah, that's all I care about.
Yeah, that's all I fucking care about.
I don't know. My understanding is that Elizabeth Warren is doing a nice slow climb up that she's just clawing her way to the top, which is really funny. And she's doing this thing where she personally calls people that that give their number out, and she's like, "Hey, thanks for coming to the rally." I don't know how I would react to that if I was like fucking sitting here at home and one of the candidates I supported was just like, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" I was like, "Fucking smoking a bowl. What are you doing, man?" You know?
Bernie Sanders goes, "Man, I'm tripping balls on shrooms. Where are you at?
Yeah,
We need to meet up."
We're gonna make America great again. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna steal it. It's fine. It's like, don't do that, Mr. Sanders.
Yeah.
That would just be so weird to have. I mean, it's a good move. But it's just fucking. I was reading that today. That made me laugh. Man, this wine is terrible.
Well, Shay, one of the podcasts I listened to, that Knowledge Fight, where they listen, they basically just curate Alex Jones. Like, they just pick a couple days and be like, all right, this is what he said. This is the guest he had on. This is why it's all horseshit. And this is like the you know, in the last 6 months, Alex has said this a lot. He's really pushing this type of supplement. We think he's losing too much money. You know, they curate. But I started like messaging back and forth with him on Twitter, and he lives in Chicago. And I was like, hey man, if we ever bump into each other in the fucking greater Chicagoland area, beers are on me. He was like, oh, that's so nice. I would love to have, you know, like, they are regular people.
And this is the guy that does Knowledge Fight.
Knowledge Fight. Dan.
Is it just? I haven't sat down to listen to it.
It's
is it
two
just one person.
It's two comedians. It's the
okay.
Dan listens to Alex Jones, so we'll listen to several days of Alex Jones and then put it into one podcast. It's about 2 hours, and he's basically just kind of telling this. It's like last podcast, except there's only two of them.
Yeah.
He basically tells the other one a story, and they laugh about it. But it's good stuff. It's good shit.
That's awesome.
All right, fun stuff. I don't know how many of these movies you've seen, Gatlin. We might ruin a little bit of them for you. But I don't think there's any physical way we can get through this podcast without Shay talking about Godzilla, so that's just going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah. Funny thing I noticed is now everybody wants to know what the next Game of Thrones is going to be, which...
if you're gonna ask me, it's already the fucking Expanse.
See, I would agree too. The Expanse
but sci-fi I don't think has as broad of appeal as fantasy does, and it also doesn't have as much titties. So maybe Amazon can throw some titties in there when they make the new season and shoot it up some.
Well, and the thing is everybody wants it to be exactly like Game of Thrones. So now everybody's talking about the article I'm looking at is nine shows that will replace Game of Thrones, and it's all like. They're all exactly Game of Thrones. It's like the Witcher Witcher.
The Witcher on Netflix.
They have to be sci-fi They have to be fantasy. They have to be like swords and sorcerers. It's I don't know. There's the Lord of the Rings show. You got the Witcher show. I mean, it's like just let whatever show.
When is The Witcher coming on?
I'm not sure.
They just finished it.
Yeah, it's got Henry Cavill is the Witcher, and he is Geralt. He looks fucking great in it. I understand what they mean by that. Is that I don't think there are any other fantasy shows on right now. Not that are any fucking good anyway.
Hold on, let me run through here for you. So, like I said, you've got the Lord of the Rings show, which is coming to Hulu, I think. I'll fucking load.
No, I think that's Amazon.
Is it Amazon? Well, I don't know, because it's just a blank white screen for me.
Don't bring race into this.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you got Lord of the Rings, which Shay's right, it's Amazon, so that'll be a good fit. You got The Witcher, which it's this year, Gatlin. They finished filming it. It's just sometime this year.
Okay.
There's a HBO series, Who Fears Death, which is fucking George R. Martin again. Again, nobody should talk to him or show him any attention until he finishes the next book.
Never gonna happen.
Yeah.
That old fat fuck's gonna be dead before that book series. Then someone like Brandon Sanderson's gonna have to come in and finish it for him.
Well, and then you guys are, the next one is that there's potentially 4 Game of Thrones spinoffs that everybody's looking forward to in 2020.
Did you see that meme floating around that was something to the effect of there's no such thing as a perfect Game of Thrones spinoff, and then it's like, wait, never mind, Thormund and Ghost.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun to watch. I'm actually looking forward to this one because his Dark Materials. It's the his Dark Materials trilogy, which was that Golden Compass movie, like back in the late thousands or mid thousands.
Yeah, I heard that wasn't as bad as like it just didn't do well, but it was a pretty decent movie. I don't know, I never fucking watched it.
Yeah, well, cool. They're gonna have armored bears fighting each other. So
I'm that's kind of with all armored polar bears. I'm sold.
Yeah, one of our boys. Of course, Chernobyl is going to be.
I still haven't watched that shit.
It's a great show, but it's over tonight, so it's only a 5-part miniseries.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's only 5 episodes. Okay, Chronicles of Narnia. Apparently, they're gonna reboot that shit. Netflix is rebooting that shit and gonna do it. Shay, of course, we have the Dark Tower series that's being put together by Amazon.
Oh, they're actually going to do a series with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
They've picked a Roland, and he's like real young. Let's see if I can. Yeah, he's real young. Like he's in his 20s, so he's not going to be that old grizzled guy. But yeah, they're going to do it. What's it say here? Blah 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 blah. Yeah, it just says.
I never even watched the movie. Like, I couldn't make myself watch it because it was just one of those things where, in my mind, there's no way they could cover everything that they needed to cover in a hour and a half, 2-hour movie.
Oh, what, for the Dark Tower?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh no, absolutely not.
You were correct. I've told Shay this before.
Everything should be a series now, as far as the way
Yeah.
with streaming. There's no excuse to not do it that way.
Well, it's true, and I've told Shay before. Like, the Dark Tower movie is not a bad movie if you expect a hour and a half long, 2-hour long action comedy, kind of a buddy action comedy in a sense.
Yeah.
But everybody expected a 4-hour long spaghetti western slow burn, and they didn't get that. But like, if you watch that. And then you go back and watch it again, like have a couple drinks and watch it again, and just realize that you have to have read all the books to know what the absolute fuck is going on. Because they get to thunderclap in like 10 minutes. I'll never forget that.
I don't care. It's garbage. It's hot garbage. There's no excuse for it.
No, Lethal Weapons. Lethal Weapons not a great movie, but that spawned a pretty successful franchise. It should just be fucking Roland and what the fuck's his name? The little kid.
Jake.
Yeah, Roland and Jake, fighting.
Yeah, but I don't want like 10 super shitty Dark Tower movies.
Well,
like that's not any better, Justin.
I don't know. We could agree to disagree on that. Yeah.
Although I do like Idris Elba as Roland, but I just fucking like Idris Elba. He's
that's true. Everybody does.
And he just, I'm convinced that he just decides to pick movies like that because he's been in some good shit. He's very talented. But I think his latest movie is he plays a genetically enhanced super soldier in the Fast and Furious Shaw and Hobbs, the new one coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, cannot fucking wait to see that shit. I was dying during the trailer. I don't know if you've seen it, but where The Rock is holding onto a helicopter in a car with one hand in each, and he's like lifting. He's able to keep the helicopter in control. It looks so good. But yeah, it was so dumb. But yeah, he just pops up in everything, and it's always some random. It's either like a weird movie or it's just shitty.
Well, one of my favorite
Star
scenes.
Trek Beyond.
Yeah, well, that whole movie was pretty shitty. What was I gonna say? Oh no, one of my favorite scenes in the Aliens. Shay, you'll know that right off the top. The shitty Aliens. Everybody hated it. Crap. What's where we got the little blue guy, the first alien? Prometheus.
Oh, Prometheus. Yeah, those suck.
Yeah. So there's that scene where he's playing the accordion and he's like fucking with Charlize Theron and he's like, "Hey, are you a robot?" And she's like, "Come to my room and I'll show you." And he's like, "If you can't be with the one you love you one you're with." He's good. Like, okay. But my only complaint about this is now everybody wants to shoehorn every fucking show into the Game of Thrones framework, and it's not going to work. Everybody's going to be butthurt. Just move on. If you're upset that Game of Thrones is over, just line up 5 episodes of Chernobyl like lines of coke and just snort them, and you'll love it. That show is so harrowing because I personally alternate between you've got to be fucking kidding me and you are seriously kidding me that happened in real life. People did that, but it's awesome. Watch it. Now, Shay, Gatlin, I know you've seen this. We have to talk about this if we're gonna call ourselves nerds in any sense of the words. We now have a sparkly Batman.
Yeah, I saw that. And
Robert, is it Pattinson? Is it
don't
Patterson or Pattinson?
But I'm gonna tell you the same thing I tell my friends, which is, if you had come up to me after I had watched A Knight's Tale in like 2000 or 2001, whenever that came out, and said, See that guy Heath Ledger right there?
Yeah.
He's gonna be the baddest ass Joker that's ever been set to film, and you could make the argument and he's the best one in a live action film. I would have slapped you in your face. So like and also I said the same thing. Like Donald Trump's the president, and Heath Ledger was a good Joker. So who knows? Maybe he'll be great. I don't know.
Well, basically,
yeah.
most of the defense for his pick is that apparently, and I'm as guilty about this as anybody else, is that he's been a bunch of these like indie cult classic movies. Like he's known for the Twilight series, which is how I know him. But apparently he's been in all these like gritty indie movies since then, and just knocked all of them out of the park. I couldn't name one of them if you put a gun to both of my dogs' heads right now. But that's what he's getting the credit for. And they say he looks great in the batsuit. I'm like, well, fuck, you take any, thinnish white man. They look pretty good in the fucking batsuit. But I'm just going to say I'm fine with it. I don't care. If we're going to redo the Joker every 16 months, we can redo the Batman every 2 years. I still say I have no problem with Batfleck because he face-planted that guy through the floor, and I was happy with it.
He was a pretty badass Batman.
A lot of what made me like the Ben Affleck Batman so much isn't even Ben Affleck himself. It's just the fact that when he's in the Batsuit, he moves like Batman. Like that, which one is when Batman vs Superman? The first time you see him is when he's up in the corner of that room, and then he just swings out. Like that's almost that's Zack Snyder. It's the only thing he's good for is making those shots. I remember that panel from the start of The Dark Knight Returns. Like I remember it. And
I also remember the whole fall, the cop car following him, and
no, it's I like that's the thing is like Batman, for whatever reason, Batman is a character that the reason is Christopher Nolan, but now people want him to be a little bit more grounded and gritty because he doesn't have superpowers. But I hope the next Batman's a little more over the top. I would love to see some dumb shit like give me another Mr. Freeze or fucking Clayface, the Clock King, one of those ridiculous, the Condiment
Solomon
King.
Grundy.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Solomon Grundy would be badass.
I always loved watching Solomon Grundy and Soups just pound on each other.
Oh, it's so fun. And then Grundy, in the animated series, the way Grundy talks is hysterical.
Yeah. And like Superman...
Born on a Monday, died on a Tuesday, lived on a Wednesday.
And Superman knows that eventually he's going to put Grundy down, but Grundy's just too damn dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's just and Superman's like, quit it! Fucking quit it!
I'd also like to see, I'd like to see in the DC universe, and I think would fit in really well because of how the DC movies are basically animated at this point. Fucking Gorilla Grodd, dude. How badass would that be? He's great in The Flash. Like, even though he's just a token villain now, that TV show that CW has it just goes nuts with the more obscure characters like him and fucking King Shark. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna wait and see. I mean, I don't have super expectations for that. Now, if they told me that guy was gonna like play the new Iron Man or something, I'd be upset about it. But
yeah, it's. Oh, go ahead, Gatlin.
No, I was just gonna say, just talking about DC in general, I'm pumped about Swamp Thing.
Fuck yeah!
Yes.
He's an old school heavy hitter, and a lot of people like he gets.
Was it Alan Moore or Frank Miller that did a badass run on him?
Frank Miller,
Moore, right? Was it Miller?
Miller
or Moore?
I thought it was Moore. Oh, it was Moore.
It's Alan Moore. Yeah.
Well, like Swamp Thing's a character that like Gatlin, like you're talking about. First of all, this DC Nation series that they're doing looks straight up horror. Looks awesome. The character design looks very awesome. But yeah, Swamp Thing's one of those heavy hitters in the DC universe that gets about a like 12 or 13 issue run every couple like 5 years. They'll run a story out, and he's like, there was like, oh, Swamp Thing's pretty cool, But he's always in the background because they always fucking go to him to save the world. It's like, what was it, Blackest Night? They went to him because he had the power of the green and was able to cleanse the world. I mean, it's like just out of fucking nowhere, he saves the world every 40 days.
They made him like more of an elemental kind of force at one point, and it kind of ran with it from there. And honestly, it's better than just a dude that fell into chemical soup, which was I don't even think, because I'm thinking of the cartoon. He's got a couple different reboots and origins, but the new Swamp Thing is a badass.
Yeah, that looks badass.
I was gonna say the cartoon back in early '90s or whenever it was, where that is what happened. He fell into the chemical spill. That was one of my favorite cartoons.
Yeah, it actually had a really well animated intro. It's really funny.
Well, a lot of them did because there was that one studio that did all the intros. It's like why the
Yes.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles intro was so badass, and then you get into like the middle of the second season,
Um,
and it's like you and I animated it.
Toei
Yeah.
Animation. That's who did it. Yeah.
So that's cool. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, as soon as Robert Pattinson, I want to say it's Pattinson.
Kim Basinger.
Basinger.
Basinger. Am I saying this right?
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah. As soon as he was announced, of course, there was another petition to have him removed. So right now, the petitions I know about that are horseshit are over 1 million people want Game of Thrones season 8 redone. Now there's a petition to replace Robert Pattinson as the new Batman. There's even a petition out there to make Danny DeVito the new Wolverine, which I'm kind of behind. I want to see that happen.
Oh yeah, dude, that fucking Photoshop of him as Wolverine is the greatest thing I've seen in years. And also, all jokes aside, I have not seen Logan since it was in theaters, and I need to watch that shit.
That's good. I got Rachel to watch like 2/3 of it, and then she was like really drunk and tired, and she fell asleep, and she watched the rest of it, and she was like, "No, that's good." And she's really come around to a lot of these. I guess you'd call them comic book movies, but they're just different. They're not straight up like rom-coms or action movies or horror or something like that. And she'll like what was the one she was mad at me? I was Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Like she saw a trailer for Captain Marvel and she's like, she said something like, "That'll be good. We'll go see that." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "I want to go see that." I was like, "Really?" Because Captain Marvel, in and of herself, is a very obscure character and had many reboots. Yeah, and she was like, "No, Brie Olsen kicking the shit out of people in game." I was like, "Oh, all right, we're there."
Yeah, I knew I loved Brie Olsen when I watched her walk around the Lookout in Kong Skull Island. That's the last. I can't remember what else I've seen her in that. And then she's like actually good in Captain Marvel. It's pretty great.
Yeah, she's good. Okay, so we got that. John Wick was fun. Everybody go see John Wick.
Oh,
a lot of murders.
John Wick 3 is so fucking good. That fucking movie. That scene in I think that has my favorite scene in any action movie similar to that, which is that one in the beginning where they're in the antique shop and they're breaking open the glass cases to get the weapons out to try to kill each other. That shit's incredible. You need to see John Wick 3, buddy. It's you Gatlin.
Yeah, it's really good. Like, and at one point, John Wick, there's some backstory about like which family he's from, and like there's I was telling Rachel like what we really need is because there's this whole world that John Wick's in is built on this idea of the high table, quote unquote. There's all these rules. John Wick got out because he killed everybody that one time to be with his wife, and then he got brought back in, and then John Wick 2, of course, he breaks the rules. But I want a whole movie where I see why they had to set all this up, like how they set it up decades ago.
I don't. I think that honestly, I would argue that is why these movies work so well, because there's no needless exposition. You just kind of figure out that stuff happens and how things work by watching it. Like, I really think a movie dedicated to like how everything got to where it's at would probably be shit. That's just
well, okay. Well, then let me rephrase that. Have some dipshit write a very shitty canon novel about it, so I can Wikipedia it.
There you go. Like, no, I agree. It would be interesting to know, but to me, that's one of the things that makes John Wick so good is that they don't explain it. You just figure that shit out. Like the little locket that has a place for your thumbprint when someone owes you a debt. Like they don't explain like you owe me a debt, so you pricked your thumb and stuck it on there. Now the debt's filled, so I pricked my thumb and stuck it on there. Like they don't explain that. You just figure it out, and it makes it more real, which is good because those movies are fucking bananas.
yeah, they go all over the place. All right, so is anybody here but me seen Brightburn?
Oh no, I forgot it was out.
I'm pumped about that.
It's good. It's real good. It's just a very basic case of nature versus nurture. Because in the what was it, the like 83 or whatever with the original Superman, you have those the montage of him growing older and getting used to his powers, right?
Yes.
In Man of Steel, you had Kevin Costner of all fucking people, and his wife, as Clark gets older, he starts to develop his powers, and they freak him the fuck out, because he can see inside people's eyeballs and stuff, and he's, so they slowly but surely teach him how to control him and be comfortable with his powers. In this case, he's just fucking activated at 12.
Yeah.
And just doesn't give a shit.
I mean, I'm sure it's got some pretty interesting scenes in it. I'll need to go see that, but I've honestly got a schedule between my consecutive viewings of Godzilla King of Monsters.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. There is one scene that got me giggling and laughing so hard. And so, like, the kid's 12 when he, his powers are just activated, so he's all weird, he's all gangly, he's he's awkward as fuck, like all 12-year-olds. And so his parents are like, well, you should probably get him to talk. And they found like some porn under his bed, but they also found some like pictures of like animals being dissected. And they're like, well, this is weird. It's like, you probably should give him to talk. So his dad takes him out in the woods and gives him the talk. It's like, you're gonna have urges, and it's okay to act on them. If it's okay. I mean, you're gonna start out and you're gonna start getting some feelings and stuff. And like the kid Brandon Byers, is like, really? So it's okay to act on them? And Dad's like, well, not now, but like when you feel ready to act on them, you should act on them. And like, it's so fucking clear that the dad thinks he's telling him it's okay to get a boner and want to have sex with women, and the kid's picking up, so I can murder people. Awesome.
Yeah, I could just wreck people's faces.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So if I
really do want to see it, but I don't know.
Yeah, it was so one-sided there. All right, and last but not least, we got Godzilla King of Monsters. It was fun.
Yeah,
So the main complaint of the critics is that there's no character development, as if anybody fucking went to that movie to see the building of the relationship between Millie Bobby Brown and whoever plays her mother.
Yeah.
You go to see that movie to watch a bunch of fucking wild beasts just go at it.
Yeah.
Exactly. The same reason a lot of people went to go see Boogie Nights.
It is just... The thing with this movie is that it watches very, very much like a Japanese Godzilla movie, which is to say the human drama is generally uninteresting and nobody cares. And it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's a lot of fun to watch. Like my buddy, one of my buddies, after he walked out, a friend of ours who saw it with us was like, well, that was terrible. That didn't make any sense at all. And then my friend Alex asked me, he goes, well, have you really seen many Godzilla movies? And he was like, no, not really. And he goes, well, then it follows the exact fight. There are kaiju. Humans find the kaiju because reasons, and then they fight, and it's awesome. And then the credits roll, and you're happy you watched that movie. Like, that's basically what it is. It is, and there's some deep fan service in there. There's, they even have, spoiler, they even have Burning Godzilla toward the end when he gets overloaded with radiation and fucking, he's all glowing red and shit. That's from Godzilla vs. Destroyer from like 1995, I think.
Yeah.
And then can we please talk about how great it is that they just fucking worked Hollow Earth theory right up into that bitch? That shit was hysterical. Because in the Japanese movies, it's always like, well, Godzilla's swimming across the planet. He's here now. It took 10 minutes. And then in this one, they're like, wow, there's tunnels. It's Hollow Earth. It's great. That shit was fantastic.
And the one scientist is like, I fucking knew it.
I fucking knew it. Yeah. No, it is so, but I mean, specifically, it watches a lot like Godzilla Final Wars, or there's a couple of them. I don't know, maybe Destroy All Monsters, which basically just has Godzilla stomping his way across the country, kicking ass as he goes. And then the fact that they use a bunch of the classic movie themes is just toward the end at that scene when you thought Godzilla's dead. It's surprise, he's not. They rises out of the water in front of the submarine with the classic theme from the Japanese movies playing. I was fucking shaking my beer, and then the girlfriend's beside me like, you need to calm down. I was like, no, it's the classic theme. Ah! That shit was great. Fucking great. You should go see it. And the last thing I'll say is it is funny because right now on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 39% from the critics and then an almost 90% from the audience. Yeah, it's one of those.
That's like the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, the first one actually critics really liked it and the fans hated it because there's almost no Godzilla in it. It's they do that bullshit they do in Jaws where they, the less is more crap, which I get that, but when you're talking about a character like Godzilla, which has been around for fucking 60 years and 30 some plus movies, like, you don't have to play coy with the shit. Give me giant monsters destroying cities. It's great.
Well, and like somebody sent me a meme or question or some dumb little like factoid, you know, because the part you're talking about where he stands up in front of the submarine, they were like, at that part, excuse me, if that part of the sea, it's almost 3 miles deep, and there's no way he would have stood up and been that tall. And I'm like,
yeah.
Hold on. That's what fucks you up about this movie? It's not the giant moth kicking ass around the fuck. I mean,
no, that movie, that's actually something funny too, because that specific shot is like directly taken from so many of the Japanese movies. They'll say like Godzilla's 30 miles off the coast of Japan, and they'll cut to a destroyer 30 miles off the coast. Then Godzilla's waist deep in water just walking. I'm like, no, it's like 6 miles deep there, but whatever. I can deal with it.
Yeah. I did like the fact that they made Mothra pretty badass in this. Like, not only did Mothra serve her purpose to die and then give her energy to Godzilla to save
Which has
the day.
happened in like 4 of the Japanese movies.
Right.
I fucking love that shit.
All the time.
That's why she's there. She's there to die.
In one Japanese movie, I can't remember which, but like these two twins sang to her for about 40% of the movie.
That's all of them. That's like the whole those are her guardian spirits. That's a big thing. You're probably thinking though of the original one, Godzilla versus Mothra from I think the 60s, because there's a solid like 10 or 15 minute scene where it's just those twins singing to an edge.
Yeah. It's like, why are we still watching this? But anyway, in this one, Mothra, comes out of her cocoon, and but she's like, actually, he bitch man slapping Rodan around for a while, and it's pretty cool. So, yeah, like that. That was fun.
Yeah, that's good. Oh man, I went on a tear and ordered a couple of, because all the classic Godzilla movies are in like 2-packs on Blu-ray for like $10 to $15 each. So I've got a couple of those coming.
I do that shit.
Night.
I do that shit. I wake up with a hangover and I'm like, why did I order Starship Troopers 1 through 5?
What?
How did I know there were 5?
Yeah, and also there's 5 of these. Yeah,
exactly. When did I Google that shit?
Why do I have a 50-pound box of beef jerky on my front porch?
Yeah. And why didn't I do this sooner?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a break. I need to get another picture of beer, and then we have we need to talk about Mitch McConnell being an ass. We need to talk about the fact that we sent Homer J. Simpson to Japan, and all the shit that snuck out of there. And we actually heard Robert Mueller's voice, and it was gorgeous.
Oh, that was weird. Yeah.
Yep. All right.
This guy looks like he just has a good time.
Who?
Billy Strings.
Oh, Billy Strings. Yeah, I can link you some good shit, but like he's fucking good. He's so fucking good. I think they did 2 sets when I saw him on Saturday, and it was like a 2.5, 3-hour show, and he just destroys it.
All right. So, you guys want to talk a little bit of politics before we go to bed?
I'm game.
Well, Shay's hitting a bong, and Gatlin's thoughtful.
It's a vaporizer. Thank you very much.
Oh, whatever. So, Gatlin, you had something. Did you have a comment you wanted to have on some Kentucky primary bunkerness?
It's just still like mind-boggling to me, with how just how terrible Matt Bevin is, and he still won convincingly the Republican nomination, and there were other good candidates in that area. And I'm just not so sure that Andy Beshear, which is who they ended up, the Democratic Party voted for, I just don't know that he can win.
Huh. Andy Beshear, he was the...
He's Steve Beshear's son.
Right, okay.
Steve Beshear was the governor, I guess before Matt Bevin.
That's how I know that name, yeah. Didn't I hear some news about she ran for congressman before, but she lost to Andy Barr, was going to take on Mitch McConnell, or at least they're talking to her. What is her name?
Lonergan Grimes?
No, she already lost.
Amy McGrath.
Yeah, Amy McGrath, yeah. She's a fighter pilot, flew like F-18s. I mean, she's badass. Yeah. I don't know how the fuck she lost to Barr. She made Barr look like the nanciest of boys. just by comparison.
It's just where you're at. I mean,
Yeah.
it's everybody's so set in their ways, and they're all the Bible thumpers that we have around this area, so they will just vote straight R no matter what. Like they don't really focus on anything political. It's solely whether you're Democrat or Republican. Like God is a Republican, so I'm voting Republican.
I hope not.
I don't think the math on that holds up. Because Jesus said a lot of shit about feeding poor people.
All right. What's that fucking meme floating around about him?
And I haven't read the Bible in fucking decades, and I still know.
Oh, that's what it was.
They're more Old Testament in Kentucky.
The painting of the blind man, where the blind man's like, "Jesus, heal me," and he's like, "LOL, sorry, pre-existing condition."
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. New Testament is more Democrat.
Yeah, I get that, and I understand political tribalism, because at this point, I'm not a big fan of a lot of Republicans, but we'll talk about a guy later in Michigan who has gotten a lot of traction for just saying what he thought. Arash is his name? I got it down here. I don't know if I could.
Yeah.
Justin, I'm sorry, Amash, A-M-A-S-H. But, like, I mean, Illinois is blue as fuck, so I don't have anything to worry about. But if somebody were to challenge Dick Durbin and hold more of the beliefs that I hold, but just happen to be a Republican, I would have no problem voting for a Republican. That's the thing. Like, I think we've lost a lot.
A common sense person wouldn't.
Right.
But that's the thing. So many people here lack common sense.
I think it's common sense, but I think a lot of it is critical thinking skills. Because, like, I get so fucking upset when people tell me that they're an independent because both parties are the same, and I say, no, you're just a fucking idiot. And they're like, oh, way to get me over to your side. I was like, I'm not trying to get you over to my side. I don't want you on my side because you're a fucking idiot. I just told you that. Because you lack the critical thinking skills to look at the Democratic and Republican Party, pick one of them that has 51% of the values that you espouse, and then run with it. Like, if you're sitting around waiting for the perfect third-party candidate,
you're an idiot.
Yeah, the thing that always pops into my head is that end of or the beginning of one of those fucking Conan movies where he finds Crom and he's just sitting on the throne, just a skeleton. I'm like, that's what you'll be. You'll just be sitting there in your chair, waiting forever for your perfect candidate, and it doesn't fucking happen.
And I know you're not like a big fan of him or anything, but I watch Real Time with Bill Maher every week.
Bill Maher has good points. He's just a pedantic little shit sometimes.
That's
so.
his shtick.
Yeah,
it's definitely his shtick. Like my shtick is drinking too much and
he embraces it.
Podcast. Yeah,
but
Justin, that's a disease, not a shtick. That's different.
He's made a bunch of good points here lately. It's more or less he keeps having all these different Democratic candidates on, and his main thing that he asks each one of them at the end, where do you go from here? Like, where's your next place that you're going to, talk to people about what you are wanting to do and whatnot. And, they say where they're going next, and he goes, go to Fox. Go to Fox News.
Yeah.
Go out there and actually, talk. Because that's the thing, Fox News, it's not necessarily that they're so crazy in a lot of the things that they do say, which they are in a lot of aspects, but at the same time, they just don't report the other side ever.
Yeah.
Like, you don't, on Fox News, if you watched it, you don't hear the other things that are being said. Like, they only report the good things that are for them.
What we talked about this shit back when we were doing the Purple Report, and the Democratic Party has a Fox News problem, and it's not that Fox News drowns them out, but it's the fact that during both Fox News and MSNBC are more alike than anybody wants to admit, in that during the day, from like 10 to, let's say 4 or 5, let's say 5, whatever, fuck it, 10 to 5, It's just straight news. It's just like what's happening that morning, what's happening that day, what's coming across the crawl, like anything. Excuse me, the latest mass shooting, what the fuck ever it is. And there's not a lot of political opinion. But once you hit that 5 o'clock mark, where you hit your primetime stuff, especially the primetime, both parties both channels do push an agenda, but the Fox News will push that agenda no matter what. Like, they are 100% down for Donald Trump no matter what. They won't report.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, they won't report anything else. If the news of the day doesn't fit their narrative, they just fucking ignore it and talk. And the reason I know this is because, as I said, I'm your sin eater. I watch, Sean Hannity so nobody else has to. And Sean Hannity's A block is the exact same fucking thing no matter what the news says. Like, Robert Mueller could bring out a 9-page written indictment on Donald Trump for obstruction of justice. And, none of this, he didn't charge him. He did charge him bullshit, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. And Sean Hannity would be like, well, Robert Mueller recommended that Donald Trump should be impeached. But you know who should really be impeached? Hillary Clinton. Because of the bought and paid for Russian lies and the Steele dossier and the fact that she spied on him. Like, it's so fucking wrote into his brain that it doesn't matter what the hell's going on. They just say it. Now, MSNBC will push an agenda, but they go over the news and like try to put a spin on it. They don't even try to fucking ignore it if it doesn't fit. Like, and that's their problem. I'm not saying that Fox News is fucking up because they've got their own shit going on. MSNBC is just lagging behind. If you want to pair them together as two sides of the same coin. But anyway, so we got some yeah, I agree with you, Gatlin. The shenanigans in the Kentucky primary do not look good.
I mean, it was just one of those things. I mean, like everybody here sees how much wrong Matt Bevin's been doing. Like, mostly for like the educational.
Oh yeah.
And like there was something that it came out a week or so ago, article in the Herald Leader, basically saying 72 different areas where he's wanting to cut funding, and all of them affect education, like law enforcement, healthcare, and you still manage to vote for this guy.
Because fuck it, right? Like, when I'm on fire and I can't read the fire extinguisher and somebody is shooting me, I guess it's okay.
I reckon.
Yeah. Well, I have another question to follow up on that for you, Gatlin. So, would you consider Mitch McConnell, a.k.a. Senator Old Cartoon Turtle, a hypocrite?
There's so many things you can use to classify that sack of shit. Hypocrite's definitely one of them.
There we go. Well, I would agree with you because recently at a luncheon, Mitch McConnell said that he would indeed sit a Supreme Court justice in 2020 if an opening would happen to come up.
Yeah, he said it was if one of the Supreme Court justices were to die in the near future, what would you do? We'd put a new one in.
No.
Loosely, I think that's what his words were.
No, that's exactly. He chuckled and said we'd fill it. They said,
yeah, we'd fill it. That's what it was.
He chuckled and said we'd fill it. In response to the question of if there was an opening in 2020. Shay, I know you're wanting to know this.
Yes.
Is Mitch McConnell completely full of shit for the last, let's say, 3 years?
Yes.
Right. So, and this is one of the things that this is what I live on. I live on political hypocrisy, and Mitch McConnell is basically solely keeping me alive right now, because in 2016 we had Justice Scalia passed away, so there's an opening on the Supreme Court. President Barack Obama nominated Merrick Garland. His nomination sat open for 293 days with no vote, no meetings, no hearings, no nothing. that nomination was not withdrawn. It was actually expired when Barack Obama left office. And then Neil Gorsuch, when Donald Trump assumed office, Neil Gorsuch was nominated on January 31st. Now, let's just keep in mind that Donald Trump was sworn in the 20th of January. So it took 11 days to nominate a guy. Now, of course, this list was given to Donald Trump by the Heritage Foundation. Donald Trump doesn't know a fucking lawyer from his own butthole.
Nope.
Or a Supreme Court justice that he should nominate from his own fucking bald spot on the back of his head. These are all ad hominem attacks, and I stand behind each one of them. Neil Gorsuch was nominated and confirmed in 69 days. And then later, Justice Kennedy stepped down, and by some fucking sheer, randomness, coincidence, one of his clerks from from back in the day was nominated to take his seat. No shenanigans there at all. Brett Kavanaugh was nominated July 8th, 2018, was confirmed October 6th, 2018. That's a 91-day turnaround after some very legitimate accusations of sexual assault. So, yeah, this is why I have trouble when people say, both sides should get along. No, both sides should not get along. People should throw frozen milkshakes at Mitch McConnell until he's unconscious.
It wouldn't do any good. They just bounce right off of him.
Yeah,
he's so jiggly.
Mitch McConnell, I just don't understand how anybody can support him. And even, I can't remember where it was, either a radio interview or something, they were talking about people, there are even people in Kentucky who will say, oh, yeah, he's terrible, but it's better than a Democrat. It doesn't matter what he does. He's just not a Democrat, so it's fine.
They're so blind to the fact that, and they feel like by constantly keeping him in, that he's doing something for us, and he's not doing anything for us.
No, absolutely not. No, he's a piece of shit. And yeah, he died. Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, anyone who says they support him is either has brain damage or is just pure evil, or I guess exceptionally stupid.
Well, one of my favorite things is everybody likes. Yeah, they can be a little bit of both.
Sure.
One of my favorite things is everybody talks about Mitch McConnell as some kind of Machiavellian genius. And yes, Mitch McConnell is very methodical because he wants to get what he wants to get. But what he wants to get is conservative judges that will fuck up a woman's right to her own body for the next 40 decades, and all this very conservative stuff that he can just seed at the base level of our judicial system and let it seep up and out and everywhere. He's not a political genius. His modus operandi is. All right, so we want to do infrastructure. He's like, well, that seems really hard. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I just won't do that.
Yeah.
That's all he does. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Fuck. The infrastructure thing is ridiculous.
He's like, if y'all will just leave me alone, I'll go nominate and appoint about 16 other just absolutely insane motherfuckers to sit on our federal courts for the next 60 years. Oh, what's that? You want to, solve world hunger and feed all the babies? No, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to go over here doing my thing. There's no strategy. He just says, no, I'm not doing it. I'm just not fucking doing it.
Yeah, he's a yeah, I don't understand how the infrastructure thing doesn't get taken care of, because I get that it's expensive, but any president that successfully pushes an infrastructure bill and puts a bunch of people to work and fixes the infrastructure in our country, that's a win. That's a win, no matter what. I don't understand how that just nobody gives a shit. We're about to enter the great age of collapses where every couple of weeks I'm probably going to read about a bridge or a dam that's given away because no one's looked at the damn thing since the 50s.
There's one just down the road from me right now. It's the bridge that I would take to go downtown Joliet. And there's signs up before, on either side of it, says, use this bridge at your own risk, because they've known for 10 years that it needs to be serviced and inspected, and it just hasn't. And it's actually one of those drawbridges because they got to put barges under it. So God knows what the hell's going on with that thing.
Yeah, it's so great. I had a friend that worked at the Corps of Engineers in West Virginia, and he gave me a list of bridges to just not drive on. He's like, don't drive on these several bridges. And he's like, and probably don't camp downstream from these dams either.
God damn it.
You'll be all right. Just yeah.
That's probably 90% of them too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's most of them. Honestly, it is honestly most of them. A lot, and it's funny too because especially there, you can go under like a lot of the bridges. You'll crawl underneath them because they're you're fishing under the creek or whatever. You look up and just see that shit's falling apart, like just chunks of it missing. It's scary as fuck.
Well, I mean, they've still got the tolls on the turnpike, and that was supposed to last 8 years. I think they've
Killing it.
been open for 20 now or something
awesome.
like that. And they just increased the toll fee.
Oh yeah. Well,
It went
West-
from like $2 to $6.
holy
That's a
shit.
big jump. Like
Oh, yeah,
you know,
it's something crazy now.
well, I just mean like I understand like raising you raise a toll a couple it's $2.50 instead of $2, but Jesus Christ. That's a percentage of an increase, I think.
Yeah. My buddy Will, we go to his cabin in Pocahontas County. Like from Huntington, it was a solid 3-hour drive, and he would always take the scenic route, and he loved it because it didn't go through any tolls. It stayed off the turnpike, but it took almost 5 hours.
Oh wow.
I was like,
I'll
yeah,
just pay $6.
yeah. Well, and sometimes, like sometimes it didn't matter. Like sometimes we were in a hurry, we didn't have shit to do, and we're like, yeah, all right, fine, yeah, I'll take the scenic route with you. And other times I'm like, well, I have $8. We can just fucking get there and start drinking. The sooner we get there, the sooner we get in the river, and the sooner I'm nipple deep with a beer in my hand.
Or you could take the scenic route and go ahead and start drinking.
Yeah, well,
Road beers.
Will drove pretty fast on that scenic route, and I was like, got kind of seasick one time. I was like, holy shit.
I actually do remember Will's got a bit.
If you drank some, you wouldn't have gotten sick.
That's true.
I can't argue with that logic. So, well, we will move on. Next thing is that Donald Trump just had what I would have to say, a woo fuckery visit to Japan. Have you guys been following this shit?
No.
Which part?
Yeah, well, I followed it
here.
because there's a lot of subreddits here that Shay and I have paid attention to, and they went sideways. So first of all, we sent Donald Trump over to Japan to meet with Shinzo Abe. It's one of the state visits. Presidents do this. But when he got there in a press conference, he immediately became. The first problem was he immediately became. Started to agree with Kim Jong-un about how dumb Joe Biden was. And in the same tweet, misspelled Biden. Awesome. So like we used to have this process, we used to have this policy basically that when presidents left the shores of the United States, you just kind of leave the petty Republican Democratic politics bullshits aside, and you are the sitting president of the United States. You are the leader of the free world in all senses of the word. So when you meet with another leader, you should just be, doing leader shit. They talked about how Kim Jong-un, at a press conference, Donald Trump did 2 whammies. He was questioned about what he thought about Kim Jong-un saying that Joe Biden was a low IQ person, and that he also happened to say that John Bolton was a defective human product, which is pretty fucking funny. I have to agree with Kim Jong-un on that one. And then they asked Donald Trump what he thought about the North Korea popping some rockets off, and he said he wasn't worried about it. Literally, he said he's not bothered by North Korea missile tests. Which this was a direct disagreement with what Shinzo Abe had just said. So we already have a complete break with the one of our allies, and it just happens to be the ally that North Korea lobs missiles over. Donald Trump says there's any problem with that. Shay, you're muted.
If Obama had said that shit, it would have been a shit show. Like, it's the whataboutism again. Like, I fucking love that shit.
Well, no, that was actually what I think I heard 3 separate foreign policy experts say, listen, if Barack Obama had said this, it would have played in the media that we had a huge glacier break from one of our closest allies in the region. But instead, Donald Trump says, yeah, Joe Biden's dumb. That's okay. Also, I would like to point out that Shay and I were kind of on the side of this whole North Korea denuclearization thing was going to go tits up anyway.
Yeah.
We were told that we should just have faith in Donald Trump. Hey, give it a chance. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we're in the same place we were. I was told that when we didn't get all their nukes, it's okay because they're still not doing missile tests. Now they're doing missile tests, and I'm told it's still okay. And then recently we find out that in the last summit that Donald Trump walked out of because his lawyer, Michael Cohen, was spilling the beans to Congress, and he was butthurt about it on the other side of the planet. They walked out, so those talks collapsed. Kim Jong-un murdered the 4 people that were in the room with Donald Trump.
I had read that. Yes.
So I feel pretty vindicated in that I told you so. I don't mean to say that the negotiations are completely fucked, but I will say that, like Shay said, whataboutism, none of the diplomats got murdered when Obama was president.
It's true. It's very true. That shit is that I forgot all about that. I wish I could say I'm surprised it's not a bigger story, but I'm not surprised in the least because it was just a blip on the radar at least from my perspective.
Well, remember this is the regime that we have satellite images of them executing political prisoners with anti-aircraft cannons.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that shit. Yeah. That's fucking bananas.
I mean, you say what you want about Kim Jong-un. He gets shit done.
Yes, absolutely.
You can kind of say...
I mean, that's one of the things he does. He gets shit done.
He gets shit done.
It seems like he's overcompensating for something.
Maybe the fact that he's 4 feet tall.
Yeah. He's fucking... I can't get over.
But like Shay said, this was a blip on the radar. The absolute media blackout that North Korea is not only popping missiles off again, and nobody seems to give a shit. And also, we talked about this on a podcast or two ago. The missiles they're popping off are Russian made. They're making turns and they're making changes in trajectory in midair that the North Korean missiles have not seen yet, but we have seen in Russian models of the same missile. So we're pretty sure that they're getting this shit from Putin. And nobody seems to give a shit. Whereas Shay and I have a commemorative coin that says this problem is solved.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the coin says it, so it can't be untrue. It'll be really interesting to see. Let's assume a Democratic person takes control in 2020. It'll be interesting to see how the policy shift on that and see how things are. Because that'll just get even worse. Because they're going to have to be twice as shitty to North Korea to make up for Donald Trump being like, you're awesome for 4 years.
Oh, and all those pictures taken with Donald Trump with the North Korean flag right beside the American flag. All that,
now, what
all
I'm
that shit.
I'm waiting for a Democratic president to meet with Kim Jong-un, and then the Republicans talk shit about it. But let's say the president that wins in 2020, whoever it is, goes and meets with Kim Jong-un. They're going to be like, "Oh, this is bullshit. He or she met with a dictator. I bet you anything. We'll just pretend like it never happened before."
No, we've already done that. We already did that in the 2008 primary general. I would had to have been the general. Barack Obama, they asked Barack Obama if he would meet with, people like Abal Assad, or what's the fuck his name? Assad. Fuck it, Assad. Well, I don't know. Yeah. I don't need to butcher his first name for you guys to know. I'm talking about the dictator of Egypt at the time.
Bashar al-Assad?
Yeah, thank you.
Bashar al-Assad, yeah.
Yeah, so Assad or Kim Jong-un, or, they were just listing dictators of these countries that we have these really strenuous relationships with, and he was like, listen, I'll meet with anybody as long as there's some preordained conditions that they'll do X, Y, and Z, and then they get to sit down with the sitting president of the United States to work further and blah blah blah. Very political answer from a candidate. Blah blah blah. Yeah. He was called the biggest cuck pussy ever for even saying he would do that.
Yep, and I had forgotten about that. That is correct.
And then Donald Trump is sitting here, basically getting a piggyback ride or giving Kim Jong-un a piggyback ride around a presser. And everybody's like, man, that's a statesman right there. That's a goddamn statesman.
Fucking ridiculous. Fucking idiots.
well, Gatlin just seems amused.
Yep.
It's just so funny. I mean, it is. It's not, but it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard not to laugh at the situations that, we find ourselves in now. It's just, but it is, I mean, it's just very sad.
Yeah, it's real sad. Like, real sad. But I don't know, man. I can't wait till these Democratic debates start. 'Cause I hate to say it, but it's going to be a fucking shit show. And at least the first couple of Democratic debates are gonna be a sporting event more than anything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have you heard the new DNC rules? They had already apparently nailed down the rules to who could be on the stage for the first two, and then the third and fourth they came up with a separate set of rules to whittle down the field. So like for the first one, everybody who has I think it's like 36,000 individual donors and can poll at 1% can be in the debate, which in this climate of kind of a PayPal, everybody can kick in $11.
That really doesn't cut it down much.
Right, exactly.
No.
You're exactly right.
No,
You're
not
exactly
at
right.
all.
Yeah, in this world of PayPal,
Every fucking one of them are going to be in it.
pretty much. So in this world of PayPal and the Cash App, blah blah blah, whatever you have on your phone, you can kick each of them $8. It's not a big deal. So a lot of them can hit that margin, and especially 1%. You had to be at least 1%. 4 polls? It's easy to be within the margins of error of 1% in a bunch of polls. For the second two, the third and fourth Democratic primary debates, they upped it to 2% and upped the number of donations you had to have had by then. And the 538.
I mean, that would still leave 12, 14 people.
Well, no, not necessarily. It's probably going to leave 6 or 8 because when it's a lot harder to hit that. If you're at 1%, it's a lot harder to get from 1% to 2% with the margins of error if everybody else goes up. So it's going to get widowed pretty quick. I don't think she's wrong at all. I think the first couple debates are going to be a shit show, which is usually why I don't watch them because I know what everybody. I know all the positions of all the candidates. I'm just waiting for to see who's the top 3, and then we'll figure it out. Or I will. Yeah, you can support whoever the fuck you want. But yeah, no, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird, and I hope that one dude, what the hell, Bill Wells. I hope there's some way he can force a debate with Trump for the primary. That'd be funnier than fuck.
Oh man.
I don't see how he does it.
No,
I don't see how he does it.
Dude's fun to listen to.
Yeah.
You know what I think? You just mentioned Trump being in a debate, and it's funny because I honestly don't think people are really taking into account how different it's going to be this time, because before it was a bunch of shit of Donald Trump saying and doing dumb shit not related to being president, but now whoever he's debating against has just hundreds of things that they can pick at and talk about and show and prove that he lied about, and it's all a stat. It's not going to be hard to undermine just about anything he says in a debate and point out why he's shitty. So I think if anything, it's going to be real funny because he's going to try to pull something off, and then someone's going to be like, well, no, actually on this day you said this and then you did this, so you're a liar. And to watch him get real fucking upset about it's going to be awesome. I think he's going to lose his shit in some of these debates because they're going to be throwing so much bullshit at him.
There's a in my humble opinion, I think there's a delineation you need to make there. Yes, he will. There are so many things the Democratic candidate is going to be able to throw in his face. But the funny thing is the people that voted for him, that 35-40%, that's not. They don't give a shit. They think it's all lies. One of the things that made me got me just fucking tickled to death was that Dennis Prager. No, not Dennis Prager. I'm sorry. Mike. Oh shit! What the hell is his name? Oh god, it'll come to me here in a second. But the guy that leads before Dennis Prager here in Illinois, he's a talker. I can figure for you here in a second. Mike, it's not Prager. Mike, Dennis Prager. Mike. I don't know. Thought come to me in a second. But he has a thing like if you text a number, Mike Gallagher. God damn it, thank you, Mike Gallagher. If you text a number, like he did this whole thing about it, all of the because one of the themes at Donald Trump's rallies was promises kept, which I thought was absolutely the funniest fucking thing in the world. But if you frame promises kept the way he wants to frame promises kept, then yeah, it works because like Dennis Prager's like if you text 483 to this number, we'll send you a link to the list of all the things that Donald Trump has accomplished in these last 2 years and all the promises he's kept. And if you look at the list, it's all these like fishy bullshit stuff like brought back focus on life. What the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah, what does that even mean?
Like, are you talking about like abortion? Are you talking about just general people? Are you talking about not snuffing out your grandmother when she gets too old? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
So it's all this like really vague bullshit, and they'll throw that out, and people are like, "Yep, that's 1,000 things Donald Trump's done in the last 2 years," which is not true. Whatever. But I think Shay, you are right that there are so many things that he just straight up said that are poor shit. I mean, well, fuck it. There are so many things he says in a day that are straight up poor shit that any Democratic candidate should be just pound him on his own words.
Oh yeah. I don't understand. I'm so curious to see how the debate plays out, because I mean, it's just he's got 4 years of being a dipshit. So like I wanna, and also and this is a friend of mine pointed this out. He's like, do you remember how fucking shitty Obama's first debate was in his second election? Like,
oh yeah.
He actively made jokes about being asleep in the second debate. Like in the first one, I think he started off the second debate by saying, "Oh, I'm awake now," which is why I love Obama because he was fucking cool. But anyway, he's oh that sucked. Let's do it right this time. But because I mean he's had Trump by that time will have had 4 years worth of stress on his like charcoal McDonald's sludge encrusted heart. So I'm part of me just hopes he just gets so angry he strokes out and dies and has a fucking heart attack. But that's mean. I didn't mean that. I'm just saying if he has a heart attack, I'll punch him pie at my house. But no, I mean that first debate is going to be real interesting to see because he's not like coming at this from some fresh rough and tumble position of never having never done this before, and he's real optimistic. He's fucking been in theory been in the grind for 4 years. So I'm really excited to see those debates. All the debates are going to be so much fun, and it's really stupid because it's going to be a sporting event, but yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's gonna get really upset because he's got to defend his record, and there's so much just shit on him, and he's not smart. He doesn't know what the fuck he's actually doing here.
No, absolutely not.
So yeah, it'll be fun. We'll just have to see who it is.
And honestly, even I think almost every single possible candidate he would be debating against is going to be more interesting on stage than Hillary Clinton was, because she's never had a great like stage presence. She's just smart and knows her shit.
Right.
Which unfortunately worked against her in this case, in the last, I think. But it'll be interesting. Yeah, like I of my top 3 picks, I think any one of them has a shot. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see him on stage.
That's cool. Yeah,
and who are those top 3?
I mean,
all right, okay.
They're
Hold
probably
on.
right now.
I had a thing I wanted to do. I was going to surprise it on you, but this is a great point. Shay, who's your top pick right now? 10 seconds.
Elizabeth Warren.
All right, Gatlin, you get 5 seconds because you got to think while Shay was talking. Who's your top pick right now?
Oh shit! I didn't even think you were going to ask me.
Yeah, well, you fucked up.
Oh man.
Tom's wrong.
Come back
Too
to me
long.
later.
You vote for Donald Trump.
No.
I need to actually like hear more of what they have to say instead of, oh, I'm running for president.
Yeah, well, that's what they got to do right now to make money.
That's why I like Elizabeth Warren, because she's literally the only one who's doing it. Like, she's not as flashy and doesn't make as many headlines, and I honestly don't think she's going to end up getting it. I would not be surprised if she ended up as somebody's VP, though. But she's basically like Hillary Clinton in the sense that she's a policy wonk, She's just more, and I hate to say it, she's just more charming. She's better
Yeah.
at talking to a public.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
less
she is.
awkward.
She
She's
has
less
she has
weird.
she has a warmer story to tell.
She has a
when
warmer
she's-
story, and she's got some good ass ideas. And the thing that really
She
I
would
like
be the
about
vice
it,
president that, like,
Yeah.
on day one, like, here are the 14 things we're going to do today.
here, yeah,
And
exactly.
Congress
yeah.
is
And
like,
I would-
God damn it.
I really do. I could easily see either.
This is syllabus week.
Yeah, I could easily see whoever ends up. I mean, and again, I'm not trying to be negative. She has been clawing up in the polls, but I don't have enough faith in the American people because the only thing she's really talked about is policy, which people aren't actually interested in. And then you've got Joe Biden.
Why are you
and,
bringing facts to a feelings fight?
Yeah, right, exactly. But then you got people like Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, just saying shit that makes great headlines. So
That's true. I think Joe Biden would be fine against Donald Trump in a debate because
I do too.
Joe Biden has much more of a relaxed style, and Donald Trump's going to be like, well, you're old. And he's like, you're 4 years younger than I am. And then
you're fat as shit.
Right,
I really
and to
hope
see
he makes
them
fun
I
of
feel
Big
like
Mac.
Biden.
Dude, I think Biden would go low enough to make fun of Donald Trump for being fat, and I would be totally okay.
Well, not fat, but just
Out
be
of
like,
shape or unhealthy.
like, why are you sweating so much?
Man, why do you sweat so much, man?
I feel like Biden would be very similar to Trump when it comes to a debate, though. Like,
Yes.
all of the punchlines would already be planned.
I
Yeah,
hate
yeah.
to say this, but I do think the fact that Biden is a super old white dude who's not
God.
super left is a
Old
benefit. Like,
as
it sucks. It sucks.
fuck.
But he's going to be able to pander to a lot of those baby boomers that voted for Obama and then Trump, and like I could see him pulling that crowd in. I don't know if it's that many, but I understand that argument. I'm not really sure. I don't know. I still don't like him as much as either Sanders or Warren. And there's other people in the race that I like, but none of them have a fucking chance.
See, like me personally, I think Pete Buttigieg is doing
I like
a
him.
great job. He's
I do
doing a
too.
great job. He has no fucking.
I like
chance in
him a
hell.
lot.
Yeah, I like him.
Old
a lot.
dude from Indiana.
Yeah, and he's got no fucking chance of winning the
No,
nomination.
if I
in my
thought he had a
opinion.
chance, I would have said him because the way he's calling out Donald Trump on dodging going to Vietnam
Right.
is hysterical.
If I will, like, right now, if the Illinois primary was tomorrow, I would vote for Kamala Harris because I think she would just dismantle Trump in a debate and in policy talk. Like, she's just like when she was in one of the congressional hearings, she was like, she asked a question, she asked it again, then she asked it a third time, and then she finally said, "Are you sure you want to make that answer?" And then later, they brought that guy up on perjury charges. Okay, she's like, "Listen, I know the answer to this, and you fucked it up. I was going to give you like 3 more chances to not perjure yourself." You know, she knows how to frame an argument. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Just to close out this little side note before we talk about Robert Mueller's beautiful, beautiful Meadowlark voice is that just anybody. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not going to vote for Donald Trump. I'm just not. I'm sorry. I know that's tribalist or whatever you want to call it, but like whatever Democrat they put up, if the Democratic Party can coalesce behind them, then that's a 55 to 45, kind of margin you got going on there.
I mean, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with
I really
saying
hope it's not John Delaney.
Yeah.
Shit. Yes.
I mean, I know it won't be, but I'm just saying, I hope it's not.
Right.
Yeah, man. I mean, I just don't. I don't even think at this point I mean, like, what do you do? Like, I get it, vote third party, but you know as well as I do that's bullshit. I don't know, man. It's I mean, like, your alternative is whatever. Like, literally just about any one of the current Democratic candidates would be better than Donald Trump. Almost
Yeah.
all of them. Not
Except
all.
Howard Schultz.
Yeah, he's a dipshit. But
He burns the beans.
yeah, he burns the beans. That guy's a fuck. But I mean, I get it. Like, people are they don't want to vote straight ticket, but it's like, yo, I mean, I think it's going to be either Biden, Sanders, or Warren, and I'm okay with any one of those three.
Yeah.
I just don't want like a Sanders. I would vote for a Biden Sanders campaign, but that would be a lot of old white guys.
Good God damn. That's one sneeze away from, like, the Speaker of the House being president.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
The one that I do like a lot right now, and that's the thing, I just need to know more about him, and he has no chance, is Eric Swalwell.
Yeah. No, he's a good senator. He's a good senator. He takes a lot of
Thing is, he's
Very-
young. I mean,
He's got
I
plenty
think
of time. Yeah, like everybody except Sanders and Biden have decades to do this, and yeah. No,
that's the
Swallow-
thing. I mean,
Swallow's a good, solid, like moral Democrat. Yeah, I got no problem with that either. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'll be right there with you, Gatlin.
yeah, like I said, he stands no chance
Yeah.
as far as I, you know.
He's solidly in the pack of people running for president to raise their just political,
I think he would make a good VP, though.
Oh yeah. Like a lot of talk has been that Biden wants to pick a younger vice president so he can declare he'll run for 1 year and then set up like a Kamala Harris or a Swalwell or somebody who's in that
Cory Booker.
Yeah, something like that, and that's fine. I'm 1,000% on board with that. Like, whatever. Like, as long as I can tweet "Bye Felicia" to Donald Trump on November 7th, I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's real. I mean, I hate to say it, but like, that is all I care about. Because honestly, almost all the fucking policies these people have are goddamn identical.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah.
let's be honest here. Like, they're that like some of them are a little further left than others, but realistically, like, I'm gonna get pretty much the same policy shit no matter who is president if it's a Democrat. So I don't have a problem with just saying get that fuck out of the White House, even if it's like, hey, I'm Joe Biden, I'm president now, I'm an old white dude, but I'm only gonna run for one term and I'm gonna step down, then we'll see what happens. I'm even okay with that, just as long as it's not goddamn Donald.
Well, I don't think any of the Democrats are coming up with the idea of putting tariffs on every single fucking avocado that comes from Mexico for the
No,
next several months.
nope, that's
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, damn it. We'll talk about that. I have a pin in that for like next week because we got to see how that shakes out. So that hasn't happened yet. But so last thing, Gatlin, can you hang on for like 10 minutes here? I want your opinion on this.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
'Cause I have one thing that I want to throw in at the
All right.
end.
all right, now,
Completely
you
different.
Okay, cool.
It was not even on the summary, so.
All right, cool, sweet. All right, last thing. We heard Mueller's beautiful, beautiful voice, and it told us that Trump committed crimes. Everybody see this or read this? It's about 9 minutes of video.
No, he never said he committed crimes. He specifically said they couldn't say he didn't.
Yeah, hold on.
Like, which
back it up.
is basically the same thing.
And
So he said
Oh.
he committed crimes.
yeah, he committed a crime.
exactly. Yeah.
And
But
I
it's
quote,
not his job to say he committed a crime. That's not what he's there
Shay, for fuck's sake, let me produce the show. We'll get there.
Yeah.
You're stepping on my lines here.
Deal with it.
So anyway, and I quote, "We conducted the investigation and we kept the office of the acting attorney general apprised of the progress of our work. And as set forth in the report, after the investigation, if we had confidence that the president clearly did not commit a crime, we would have said so. They did
Yeah.
not." All right.
Exactly. Yeah.
And to-
That's what I was
and
yelling
to-
about.
Exactly. And to Shay's point, Mueller then went out. Let's point out we kind of glossed over this, but this is the first time Mueller has done a public statement in over 2 years, because that's just how he rolls. He just does the job and gets the fuck out. This was his statement of the report. This is after several letters where he said he was kind of upset with the way Barr had interpreted his report. The parts that were made public on, I want to say, May 23rd, I think it was. And it said, but he also pointed out that the reason they didn't recommend a charge, or would have never recommended a charge, is because it's the DOJ's position, and this goes back to Watergate, where the DOJ had decided that the sitting president cannot be indicted. So
Exactly.
So basically,
It's one of those things where you hold your cards till the hand's over.
Exactly. Mueller said that it would be unfair, and then went on to say that, referring back to the the DOJ's opinion, which a la aka Watergate. Nixon administration, Watergate, blah blah blah. The opinion states that the Constitution requires a process other than the criminal justice system to formally accuse a sitting president of wrongdoing, aka impeachment. So basically, Robert Mueller came out and said, "Listen, we didn't make a decision on whether or not Donald Trump had committed a crime because we couldn't. if he had not committed a crime, we would have told you that. They did
Yeah.
not. So he clearly committed crimes, but based on the DOJ's opinion from the Nixon administration, the Constitution says that Congress has to take this up. He basically said, listen, fucksticks, here's your road to impeachment. Do it. And that's where we are right now.
Yeah, I guess they are. The House has voted to convene hearings on his
Exactly
obstruction stuff, and I mean, my understanding is
that happened at like 5 p.m. today.
Yeah, it's like as of just today. So
Yeah.
The House hold Attorney General contempt vote next week, and then what's the other one? House announces public hearing on Trump's overt acts of obstruction. So
Right.
they're finally going. Honestly, I wonder if that was always the plan, or if it was because I know there's been a lot of pushback against Nancy Pelosi being a little bit less forceful with it than people would have liked. But I kind of don't. I don't know if that's it. I think this was where they were going all along. I think she just didn't want to pull the trigger right the fuck away and look like an asshole. Governments don't move fast.
No.
And I think that they're literally designed to not move fast so you don't accidentally, I don't know, elect a fascist piece of shit who's a billionaire, but not really. No, but all jokes
Kind
aside,
of like soft fascist.
yeah, we're talking. Yeah, we're really what we're talking about is laws instead of legislating. So and things like that. So this is about the speed I expected. I know a lot of people are hoping the report would drop and then they'd immediately start impeachment shit, but that's not at all how this shit works. If anything, I expect them to look into all the obstruction stuff and get everything all sussed out, so that during the election, whoever the candidate ends up being, they can say, "Oh, look, the House discovered this. These are all problems that you fucked up." I don't know.
Also, didn't
You got to think about it. I mean, there's capital murder trials that last 2.5 years for the same type of reason.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just dotting their I's, crossing their T's over and over again, making sure that there ain't one single reason that they can't move forward with it when they finally do move forward with it.
Well, and Gatlin, that's a great point. It's kind of where I had been this whole time with Democrats, and like she was saying, most of the people like butting up against Nancy Pelosi. A lot of those people are currently running for president, mainly because 60% of all Democrats serving in Congress are or the Senate are running for president right now. They're all butting up against her, saying we need to impeach, and she was holding off, pushing it back, saying that's not an option right now. It's not on the table.
What's the point now?
Well, I think I agreed with a friend of mine who I was talking to. I'm not going to name him here because he's got a very political job, and if I fuck his shit up, he might not get federal grants. But he was saying that he's all for impeachment, but he was saying, and he had a great point, that let's let all, like, first of all, the Democrats had subpoenaed and were asking for the full Mueller report and the underlying supporting documents. And that was kind of what I was thinking too. Is like, let's let them get that, and then let's let the Democrats decide whether they want to pull the trigger after they've seen all the evidence. That's clearly
You got to see all of PennDOT.
Exactly. That's clearly not going to happen in the next 2 years because Donald Trump is going to throw up every bit of obstruction he can, quote unquote, no pun intended, I guess.
Well, that can't be right, Justin, because he ran as being the most transparent president ever.
Right, but he's just denying subpoena after subpoena after subpoena, which was actually the Article 3 of the impeachment, number 3 in the Articles of impeachment, against Robert Nixon, was that he was denying subpoenas, lawful subpoenas by Congress. So Trump's already doing that. So whatever. So we're not going to get the full Mueller report and all the underlying documents. We're just
Justin,
not going to get.
I just got to interrupt you real quick. Facebook just pinged me. The certified website of President Donald J. Trump has just pinged me for a mainstream media accountability survey about how accountable the media is to him, and it's mainly basically him asking Facebook users if the media has been fair to him. And I'm
sure that is just going to be, the metrics on that are going to be phenomenal.
Yep.
But yeah, so like I was with like, hey, let's impeach him when we got all the facts. We're clearly not going to get all the facts down because they're gonna roadblock us left and right. So okay, if Nancy Pelosi wants to open an impeachment inquiry, I'm fine with that at this point because we have 10 different instances where Donald Trump has attempted to has actually instructed justice or attempted to obstruct justice. One of my favorites is where he told Matt Gaetz, White House counsel, to go to Jeff Sessions in his Keebler tree and tell him to fire Robert Mueller. Robert Gates said, "I'm not doing that," went back to his home and prepared his letter of resignation, and was only talked out of it by Reince Priebus. Like, that is one of the 9 cases in which Donald Trump had tried to obstruct justice. Just trying to obstruct justice is obstructing justice. Like,
No. Or,
this whole bullshit about how because they didn't convict him of collusion, there's no crime to obstruct is horseshit. So this is happening. That, like, I'm fine with it. I want to read you guys a quote from, like I said before, there's one Republican who has called for Donald Trump's impeachment now. There's like 25 or 30 Democrats that have done it right now. So, they're all going to do it. Representative Justin Amash from Michigan, Republican from Michigan, he said that Donald Trump has committed several offenses that are impeachable. He recently went to a town hall in his district to field questions from his constituents. He got a standing ovation when he walked in, but he was also peppered by questions from his more conservative constituents. You can, like, the video I saw was on MSNBC, so you can just throw his name in MSNBC's search and you'll find it. It was a woman wearing a Make America Great hat, wanting to know why she voted for him when he was clearly a Democrat, when she voted for him when he was a Republican. He proceeded to tell her that, listen, look up all your conservative ranking sites. I'm, like, in the top 10 in most of those sites, so don't fucking come to my house and tell me I'm a Democrat. It was pretty funny. But here's the one that got me. MSNBC interviewed a woman who was super surprised that Justin Amash was
yes,
that's
what I was about to.
Yeah. So she was super, like, floored that Representative Amash was siding with the Democrats on this, because she had not heard anything that was bad about Donald Trump in the Mueller report. And here's the quote. Kathy Gamamet, a Republican who supported Amash and the president, said that she was upset about Amash's position, but wanted to hear his reasoning. She's at this town hall. She said that she will definitely support Trump in 2020. I have to pause here because my browser turns Trump to Trump, and I just don't want whatever. So she said she will definitely support Trump in 2020, but that Tuesday night was the first time she had heard that the Mueller report didn't completely exonerate the president. I quote, "I was surprised to hear that there was anything negative in the Mueller report at all about President Trump. I hadn't heard that before." She said, "I mainly listened to conservative news and I hadn't heard anything negative about the report, and President Trump had been totally exonerated."
Yeah.
That's what we're dealing with here, people.
Yeah.
And that's like what I was talking about with, like, where I was watching Bill Maher the other night. Like, they do what they want to do. They do the news the way they want it to be. They don't go that extra mile. Like, you wouldn't have even heard her saying that on Fox News.
Oh, God, no. Yeah.
Like, it just so happened MSNBC interviewed her. That's why that got said out there.
And honestly, to her credit, I love this lady because, like, she was honest as fuck. Like, she's like, listen.
She had no clue.
Yeah, like, I'm a conservative. I listen to a lot of conservative media.
She said she only watches Fox News.
Yeah, like, she listens to Fox. She watches Fox News. She listens to a lot of conservative talk radio. That's why I love it when conservatives are like, "You're just a stupid Democrat. All you listen to is MSNBC." And I'm like, I can tell you what Sean Hannity said yesterday.
Yeah.
Can you? Like, come on now. Like, I listened to I listened to Rush Limbaugh when Rush Limbaugh was the number one talker, and then about 5 years ago, Sean Hannity started to usurp his shit because he got old and, like, deaf and fat, and those are all ad hominem, but they land. I stand by those. But then Sean Hannity became, and then for like a weird moment during the primaries, Alex Jones became very prominent because fucking Donald Trump went on a show, and I was like, wait a minute, are you telling me that the Frog's gay guy just had Donald Trump on a show? And so I was like, so I started listening to Donald Trump and Sean Hannity, and I gravitate more to I'm sorry, not Donald Trump, Sean Hannity, Alex Jones and Sean Hannity, but I gravitate to Alex Jones more because it's funnier, and Sean Hannity says the exact same fucking thing every 2 days. It's bullshit. But no, I listen to these guys, so I love it when people are like, well, "You're just a Democrat. You just listen to Rachel Maddow." I was like, actually, I haven't listened to Rachel Maddow in a couple of days.
Oh my God! You have to donate a minimum of $35 to record your survey results.
That's fucked up.
Oh, these questions are so leading. It's amazing. Anyway, I'll send you the link. Sorry.
Yeah. Give us one or two, Shay.
What is it?
Give us one or two of the.
These are so fucking weird. Let's see. What was a really good one?
That picture that popped up was amazing.
Yeah. Because they've made him so thin in that picture.
Oh, dude, he has been fucking. Yeah, do you believe it? There was one on here that was really, really weird. I had to read it twice in order to understand what they meant. Let's see. You said nope. That's not it. This is such a great for our listeners. They love this. Listen to me figure this out. I mean, it's a lot of stuff like, just real dumb.
Media
spalts quick stories too fast. This was one. Do you believe that the media has turned a blind eye to Planned Parenthood's worst actions? What the fuck does that even mean?
That's Vegas balls.
Yeah. Do you believe that the mainstream media has been too eager to jump to conclusions about rumored stories? This is the one. Do you believe that if Republicans were obstructing Obama like Democrats are doing to Trump, the mainstream media would attack Republicans?
Wait a minute. Read that again.
Do you believe that if Republicans were obstructing Obama like Democrats are doing to Trump, the mainstream media would attack Republicans?
They
that
did.
Is verbatim what I know, but that's like
they did.
I know, and
that's like a year's worth of people bringing up the fact that Mitch McConnell said, "Well, our number one goal is to make Barack Obama one-term president." Do you agree with the Are you fucking shitting me?
Yeah. Do you agree with the president's decision to break with tradition by giving lesser-known reporters and bloggers a chance to ask the press secretary questions?
You know what that fucking means? That fucking means Alex Jones, Laura Loomer, Jack Posobiec, fucking Mike Cernovich. You know, those.
It's nice and pivot. And do you agree with the President Trump's media strategy to cut through the media's noise and deliver our message straight to the people? So do you think he should tweet like a dumbass? That's what they want to say. Yeah.
There is a fantastic montage
do you believe that our party should spend more time and resources holding the mainstream media accountable? That's the last question on here.
You know what I love about that, and all of them do it. Rush Limbaugh does it. Mark Levin does it. Sean Hannity does it. They talk about the mainstream media, but usually if they're getting all worked up, they'll drop the mainstream part, and they're like, you know what? The media is against you. You know what you are, fuckstick? You're the media. Sean Hannity is on fucking the radio for 3 hours a day and an hour at night. Same thing with Alex Jones. Alex Jones pulls 4 hours a day. 2 hours on Sunday, which is 2 more than fucking Sean Hannity. And you talk to me about how you can't get your fucking views out there? Eat my butthole. God damn it. I mean, this podcast gets like 12 views a week, or listens a week, and neither Shay and I are going, we're being censored. God damn it, you know?
It's just not that good of a podcast.
No, it's not.
Oh, dude, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I had a friend tell me the other day, he was impressed. He's like, Shay, I drink with you all the time, and I don't think I've ever heard you on your last podcast. I was like, yes, we're shifting paradigms, boys.
I know, yeah. I don't know. It's like, no, but that gives more, we could do an entire podcast on the conservative victim culture. It's there. It's never going to go away because they lost the culture war. They really have. Every generation from here on out, you know, is going to be, it's not necessarily going to be more liberal, I won't say that, but it's going to be less conservative, and it's going to be more diverse, and they can't fucking stand it, because, like, right now, The kids that are getting out of high school don't give a shit about gay marriage.
No.
They don't even understand that there was a problem with like black people marrying white people. They don't even fucking have that. That's not even in their fucking universe. They don't give a shit about gay people. They're kind of trying to figure out what they think about trans people. But you know, the fucking boomers that watch Fox are already like, well, that's the devil.
Yeah.
Like that's just the devil. You know.
That lady has a penis and I like it. I'm angry about it.
I'm sexually confused about what I want to do about this. Yeah. All right, guys. I think we should wrap it up. We gotta let Gatlin go to bed because he's actually got to get up. We really do fuck Gatlin and anybody else in the Eastern Time Zone because Shay's in the Mountain. I'm in Central. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's only an hour difference for us.
Yeah, it's only like 11 here, but it's midnight for Gatlin. He's got to go to work tomorrow. He actually has a job that cares when he shows up.
That's true.
Shit, I don't care.
All right, well, Gatlin doesn't care. All right, so like we
I
say,
get there on time. I do things.
I don't. Think
I officially have a job where I'm basically Hank Hill now.
Nice.
There you go.
I sell propane and propane accessories.
That's badass.
Yeah.
If I ever get into the marijuana industry, I just want to be able to say I sell marijuana and marijuana accessories.
Oh, that'd be great.
Just work there for a week and get that card.
Yeah, dude, just put that shit on my resume. Marijuana accessories. This would be awesome.
Now, I was wanting to know if you all had
Oh yeah, you had one more thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Yeah.
I was wanting to know if y'all had seen the whole Ark encounter in Kentucky.
Oh, how it got flooded.
Yeah.
Did you hear about this, Shay?
No.
So Shay, you know the Ark.
There's a place in
Go ahead, Gatlin.
there's a place in northern Kentucky that built like a replica Ark of Noah's Ark.
Oh, yeah, they got a bunch of tax breaks and shit for it, right?
Right.
Yeah, I remember everybody was real pissed.
And it just flooded.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And they're suing the company that built it for flood damage.
Oh, that's amazing. Flood damage at Noah's Ark in Kentucky. That's fucking incredible.
Are you Googling that right now, Shay?
Right now, buddy. I'm all over it, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that not the funniest shit ever?
They're suing him for over $1 million for what I hope they call an act of God. That'll be the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that shit's hysterical. That's awesome. Oh, good.
Well, I mean, they should have actually paid a real carpenter to do it, like Jesus.
I forgot all about that stupid fucking thing.
Well, every time I tell people where I like moved here from, they're like, "Wait a minute, were you near that? There's like an Ark." I was like, "Yeah." Like I know what you're talking about. I haven't been, but I know what you're talking
It strictly said no animals allowed.
God damn it.
That's awesome.
Well, they're losing their fucking shirts, so hopefully this will be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and they have to fucking pack it in.
Yup.
We'll see.
We'll see. Doubt it. People love the Ark. People fucking love that shit.
Alrighty. All right, everybody.
Well, it's taking on water, so
its time is limited. So first of all, Gatlin, thanks for coming on. Hope you had a good time.
always.
We'll try next time. We'll try to get you on. We'll try to get Shay on the right time zone, and we'll try to get you on a little
told you I know what time zone it was. I was late. Fuck you. I literally looked at my watch and went, I'm almost an hour late.
All right. So we'll leave you with those thoughtful comments from my brother Shay. And like I say every week, we hope you enjoy listening to this.
We don't do this every week, but yeah, whatever.
Whatever. Yeah. Whenever we
every
do this.
Recording, yeah.
Every recording I do this, I say I hope you enjoyed it because we actually enjoy the absolute fuck out of doing this. We have a ball. I get to talk to my little brother and some of my friends that I don't get to see a lot, so I have a ball. We hope you have a ball. If you want to ask us a question or comment or talk about how Shay's always late, hit us up on Twitter. It's at WoodsCast1776. Also on Facebook, hit us up. It's at WoodsCast1776. And shoot us an email or anything at thewoodscast1776@gmail.com because fuck Alex Jones and his entire shtick. He's hopefully he'll go bankrupt soon. It'll be great.
He sucks butt.
Yep. Gatlin, again, thanks for being on.
Appreciate y'all.
Yep. Shay, this is the part where you say goodbye to the nice people.
Toodles.
Won't you find yourself hearing more? Never heard a sound. Oh, he's my man, and he likes to jam. Up and then starts to jam. Moving up and down across the land. Got a wiggle all in his waist. Everything about him seems out of place. But just move, just a rubber band man, just move, just move, just.